Man. Do you know the Muffin Man?
Yeah, Susan Julia then.
Well, she's married to
The Muffin Man. The Muffin Man?
the Muffin Man, not the gumdrop buttons.
So you're not doing any more camera work because you got
Rocks in my shoes.
you got rocks in your shoes and you have to hold on to your shoes. So you got the rocks in there.
Yeah, and a lot of goddamn sand too.
Well, it's good to see you take your cameraman job seriously. Not the gumdrops.
Not the gumdrop buttons.
Train the muscles, not the joints.
We're good, dude.
You got me, yeah?
Yeah, dude.
You got me. You fat ass. All right, in the water I go. It's refreshing though. But yeah, it burns us the calves, eh? Not burns us. It's actually not too bad, but it's just shocking because it's so hot out. Your turn. So welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about changing up the angles in your workouts. And one of the ways that you can do this with chest is by, say, doing dips or declines as opposed to inclines. So somebody just asked me lately, do I do heavy dips, and are heavy weighted dips good for chest development? Now, again, dips are a compound movement and they're good for a number of different muscle groups such as the shoulders, triceps, and chest. So it depends on the angle, it depends on how your body is positioned. And depending on whether you're leaning forward or leaning back will depend on what is the dominant muscle that gets hit. And again, this is also going to boil down to how you're built and where your attachments are, the muscles, and how your joints are done and everything. But a common problem I see with a lot of heavy dips, and of course I'm not doing dips right now, but I will show you later on in the chest workout. But a big problem that people have when they do dips is that they go beyond the range of motion which is right for them. Some people, they can dip really low and they don't feel a lot of pressure on the shoulder joint. And then other people feel that the shoulder is at its most stretched point at about 90 degrees at the elbow when they're coming down. So you have to really listen to your body on this. And there was one Patreon supporter, Garrison, he actually shared his story where somebody was insisting that he come down too low and then he actually injured his shoulder, and his shoulder has never been the same since in the dip type position. So you have to be careful with dips. Dips also do put a lot of pressure on the chest, and there is always a tendency for people to go too extreme in stretch and weight and then balance. And when they're doing an exercise for the first time, they sometimes challenge themselves too much, so they don't allow their body to get the proper coordination and balance first, and they go too heavy too quick and they injure themselves. So you'll see in the video today where I'm doing weighted dips for the first time in years. I really haven't done a lot of weighted dips in my training, and back in the day I did some, but I haven't done it for a long time because I did find that the shoulder joint does take quite a bit of pressure during dips. Yipe! 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 I'll show you how I perform the weighted dips, but first let me get through my dumbbell presses here, and then we'll get right to the dips.
Look at the vascularity on you.
For lack thereof.
Oh, yeah?
I kind of like that actually, it's just something different. Yeah. So thanks to the subscriber that made the suggestion, do some weighted dips, because I haven't done these in a long time, so it's nice. Cameraman arguments.
I've actually recently been doing that lately.
Huh?
I've been recently doing that lately.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, I have.
Quit making shit up just to make yourself feel better about yourself.
Literally, like,
Every time I do something, you always say you did it. Why do you always gonna one-up me, man? Weighted dips. Doing weighted dips. Just a 45-pound plate. Easy stuff, but just I haven't done this for a long time, so you want to work into things, you know? First and foremost, because I haven't done this angle of movement on the chest for a long time, I am, first of all, being careful with the weight. I'm doing a weight that I can do at least 20 reps with, maybe 30 reps or more, because I'm just trying to make sure that my body is acclimated to the angle. Make sure the shoulder's sitting right. And this is important whenever you attempt a new exercise that you haven't done in a long time. Now, of course, to exacerbate the entire situation, I have a different type of shoulder situation than some of you because I have that slap tear in the shoulder, which I talk about lots of times. So it's a hockey injury, nothing to do with weight training. But the bottom line is that I find that doing this angle might be the secret to me actually hitting the chest, because before I didn't really need to do this, but because I have a little bit more of an unstable shoulder, perhaps the dip is the right thing. So this emphasizes the point that sometimes when your body changes based on injury or history or age or whatever, that sometimes the type of exercise you do may need to change in order for you to stimulate that muscle growth. And as proof, you're going to see the massive mountainous pump that is going on right here. That's from doing the dumbbell presses along with these dips. Yo, man, get on my face, man. Get on my face, man. I'm doing a set here. God dang trolls, everywhere you gotta go. Every time I go to the gym, goddamn trolls, man, my face. That was pretty good. I think that was a pretty good set. What do you think? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Actually, the heavy dips are good. This begs the question of why should you switch things up? So sometimes you might have a joint, like your shoulder, your knee, your elbow, whatever, might be slightly out of place. Maybe you have some trigger points, some muscle knots, something like that. And sometimes just by switching the exercise up, you can address that muscle that might be knotted up. It might actually shift the joint or adjust it back into place properly, right? So that's why doing rotator cuff exercise is good, and also changing the angle of what you're doing. Tonight I did some dips, and it feels like I shifted the shoulder the way it needed to shift because my left shoulder was sitting a little bit weird. And yeah, it felt pretty good. So let that be a lesson to you. Bang! Listen to me, listen to me. Listen to me now. Listen to me, I have something to say. So when it comes down to it, you start off light, keep the shoulders back. You come down as low as you need to feel the stretch in the chest, but not the stretch in the tendon insertions in the shoulder. So a lot of times with people with dips, they come down way too low. They overstretch the crap out of the shoulder, and then they end up tweaking something or tearing a labrum or hurting themselves. So make sure you proceed with caution on any exercise and really establish that awareness and mind-muscle connection first. Just say, okay, where am I feeling this? Am I feeling it more in the joint, or am I feeling it in the belly of the muscle, right? That's first and foremost. Avoid injury first and foremost. So now to get on with the workout, here I'm doing just some light pullovers. And the reason why I'm doing this is just to get a little bit of a stretch in the subscapularis as well as the lat. And they kind of work together a little bit when it comes down to internal rotation, as well as bringing the hand down kind of like in a chopping type motion, especially when the hand is pronated as opposed to supinated. So without getting into too much specifics about it, when any of those muscles is out of balance in the shoulder, sometimes it can throw the shoulder a little bit off. So sometimes doing a stretching movement once in a while, it doesn't always work this way, but sometimes doing a stretching movement can also offset some of the trigger points in that area, especially when you're stretching under weight carefully. Okay, because a lot of people asking about stretching under weight. You have to be careful when you're stretching under weight, and there's certain situations where stretching under weight is more dangerous than helpful. So anyway, that's a different subject, but bottom line is sometimes I'll do a stretching type movement to actually help more for rehabilitation reasons, to make sure that the muscles in the joints are actually being supported properly and they can move and they're all working in some sort of harmony.
Beer's milking. Yeah.
Gotta like that. I'm gonna do a superset.
Super chat.
Okay, I'm gonna grab a different handle. I don't like that handle. It doesn't rotate. You gotta rotate, man. You gotta work with me, man. The handle's gotta work with me. It's like, help me, help you. Help me, help you. I need a Jerry Maguire handle.
Mounted.
Pumpitude, you gotta go for the pumpitude. Go for the pumpitude.
Big back.
Big, biggity back and biceps. Biggity back. Biggity back. Biceps. So now that we talked about dips, let's talk a little bit about incline curls. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do them. When you stick the chest right out and bring the dumbbells more out to the sides, you're gonna notice that you hit more of the mountain part of the bicep. If you bring them straight forward, sometimes you'll find that you may hit a little bit more of the brachialis, which is the part of the bicep that crosses the forearm. So it's good to change the angle of how you lift the dumbbell. You know, sometimes more out to the side, sometimes forward. Of course though, if you feel a tension in the joint itself, don't do that. If you start feeling shoulder pain or elbow pain, don't do it, because then it's not right for you, of course. But one of the things that I find as well that you notice when I do bicep curls is that I always keep the arms slightly bent at the bottom. I don't straighten them, because I find it helps me to keep that tension on the bicep the whole way through the set, and therefore that bicep is guaranteed to hit failure. Now, if I come down to the bottom during incline curls and I just relax, what happens is that then my shoulder starts to move around a little bit based on my hockey injury, you know, the instability of the shoulder and everything. But what happens is then the rotator cuff muscles in there come in to try to stabilize the shoulder, and that sometimes takes energy away or robs energy away from my bicep workout. So I find it's more effective to keep that tension on the bicep instead of transferring it from bicep to rotator cuff to bicep to rotator cuff. It's good giant set for biceps. Burns us. It burns us. It burns us. That's good stuff, man. That feels good. Of course, this is one of my favorite leg exercises. I just love the Smith machine lunge, or one-legged squat, you could say. One-legged squat on the Smith machine. And I don't lock out all the way out the top, because then I find, once again, then the hip starts to wing out to the side possibly, or I start to rest on the joints. But I like to keep that tension on the muscle and on the hamstring and on the glute the whole time. So you get this just extremely intense burn, and it it just pushes those legs right into failure, like so deep into failure with nothing else getting in the way. Like nothing else hits failure. It's just purely the leg. And that's really what I'm going for. And that's what I love about the one-legged squat on the Smith machine. Balance doesn't even get in the way because you're not balancing the weight. Now, I'm not saying not to do free weight stuff. I like doing one-legged squats free weight style. I've done them on this channel a million times. But one thing you will find is that when you start to fatigue with free weights, especially when you're doing one-legged squats or walking lunges, that balance can sometimes become an issue once you start fatiguing. And whenever there's balance issues, it's good to become conservative in the weight as well, because whenever you lose your balance with heavy weight, there's a possibility of injury.
That's right.
So this is the end of the workout, but stay tuned because I'll throw you a couple of clips after this workout scene here. So don't worry. Once I say, go to my YouTube channel and all that kind of stuff and subscribe and thanks to the Patreon supporters, and I say all that stuff, there'll be a couple clips after. It's really cool, right? Because you just never know what I'm going to put there, right? You never know. Sometimes it's just silly stuff. Sometimes it's very serious stuff. You don't know. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope this video helped you out with your own training. I hope it gives you biggity gains and all that. And take care for now. And oh yeah, watch some clips.
I am a mountain that treads upon the rocks. Mountain. Ah, mountain. Oh. That's not mountain. Obi-Wan Kenobi is in the building. What the hell? Obi-Wan? Help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope. Help me, Obi-Wan. What the hell's with what's with the bathrobe? Who wears a bathrobe to the gym? What's going on with that?
For my warm-ups, man.
Oh, I get it. It's like a WWF wrestling intro.
I try and like channel the Ric Flair
Oh man.
and bring the excitement to the gym.
My God, that's branding.
Gallant!